If you are here from my unboxing of the Cort X700 Duality II, then you know that that video was just me kind of opening it, getting to know it, and now at this point, I've had it a little bit longer. I'm gonna give it a proper review now about kind of how it really is and what I've thought about it so far. I think I'm gonna start at the top because there's certain things that I really love here that you'll see in a second. And then when we get down here, it's kind of all the basic fun stuff that we all expect a little bit. So check this out. All the things that you would not expect to be fun about this side. First of all, we've got locking tuners. They are Cort branded locking tuners, but they are locking tuners nonetheless. They are also staggered adjustable height posts. That means if you look closely here, this tuner is higher than this one, which means that we don't need any string trees. Granted, that is also a pretty hefty break angle on the neck. Something like the Ibanez's that I play, they're way more straight than this. So they do require a string tree. Even though you have the adjustable height posts, it doesn't really entirely make up for it sometimes. But in this case, I think they did a great job, and no string trees not only looks really nice, but it also helps with tuning stability. Between having the locking tuners and the adjustable height posts and no string trees and a beautiful break angle, that all makes for really great tuning stability. One of the reasons is that the less friction points you have, the better. So the more that the headstock can take over for those friction points. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you have the strings wrapped around the tuner, and let's say you have two string trees, right? Plus you have a nut. The nut, the string tree, and the winds of and the wraps on your tuning peg will all make friction points. So if you dive bomb your whammy bar, the string is going to move through the nut, it's going to loosen up, it's going to move on the tuning peg, it's gonna move in the string tree, that's gonna land the string in a different place than it was before, and that is where some tuning instability occurs. So in this case, I really like this. And it has, so far, I think tuning stability on this has been really, really great once it's been broken in. Now, I'm gonna make a point here that they have this really cool, modern Cort logo, but also, I love matching headstocks, and I've made a point to say that recently. And this one really, aesthetically, I think a matching headstock has to be done right, you know? And in this case, I think they knocked it out of the park. And you know me, I don't have headstocks a lot anymore, so they need to look good. Something that I will say is that it's crazy that, I don't know, I don't think that was the best look for the truss rod cover. I think they could have done something better than that with how snazzy this all looks and how beautiful it all looks, but that's just me. I said this in the other video, I'm not sure if it is a Graphtec nut. So the Cort website does not mention what the nut is made out of. I did find on another website that it's made out of graphite. It's like a Graphtec style nut. I don't know, I should not. I'm just saying, so far it's been very reliable and it does not feel cheap. Now this is where things get fun, and we should go on over to the guitar cam. That was so proggy. That's so weird. It just moved that shape around. Pretty cool. That's cool. I wonder if it'll work if I do this over it. Yeah. We have a real ebony fretboard with real abalone inlays with jumbo stainless steel frets. And then on top of all, we have a 3-piece neck. And I love 3-piece necks. I have a couple guitars with 3-piece neck. I have 2 guitars with 5-piece necks. Something that's interesting about necks with multiple pieces. If you are there's an argument to be made for stability with necks that are multiple pieces. The idea is that if you're in odd climate or if you're moving climates a lot and this piece of wood wants to move and these two don't want to move, then these two will help keep this one in place. And that's the idea of the stability of multiple pieces when it comes to necks like that. Also, it looks so schmexy. I love it. And so what's going on here is you have the piece of maple up the middle, which we all love. We all love maple. I don't care who you are, you love a maple neck. And we have what's called panga panga on the side. It's that typical kind of heavy metal tone wood idea for those like upper mid kind of frequencies. I think that's the general idea of it, at least. You see it a lot on extended range guitars. In this case, I think it looks beautiful. I think the stability is true. Tone-wise, I'm not really sure. Go ahead. I'm going to talk more about tone wood in a second. Argue in the comments. While we're talking about tone woods, this is a mahogany body, which so many people love mahogany. And if you're like an old school Les Paul freak like I was, then mahogany feels nice to you. I'll tell you that I expected it to be a lot more honky than it is, a lot more nasally, and it's not. And it's not anywhere near as heavy as I thought it would be. It really has the same weight as some of my basswood guitars, which is pretty cool. And I think it looks nice. I think it's pretty nice. It's kind of this greenish look, but where it really shines now, haha, look at this. Where it really shines is the bevel meeting the cap is so cool. Hold on, I almost forgot to mention something on the neck, and that is the fact that it comes stock with real lumen lays. Where some companies, when you have a guitar of this price, right, this guitar being in like $1,400-$1,500 range, when you have a guitar like this, typically that range of guitar, I've seen a lot of them that don't come, they advertise as lumen lays, but they really say luminescent side dots, and they're kind of just like the ShopRite brand, like store brand lumen lays. They still work, but they are not as bright when they're not lit up. Like these look white, and something with luminescent side dots are like a really dark green. So they're kind of hard to see with like in the normal daylight, and these are not like that. These are the real thing, and I love lumen lays, and I have them on almost every guitar I play now, and it's been amazing. Okay, back to the body. So this is a maple cap with this light flame going on, right? This is what they call the lava burst, and it looks great. And this bevel is really interesting because they exposed the maple and then they flamed and colored the middle, and it looks so cool. It does make the guitar look a little small if you're wearing black clothes, which is kind of interesting, but I like it a lot. And the blue one actually has a blue bevel on the outside, and it pops a little bit more. We have a 5-way blade switch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Interestingly enough, a high friction volume. It's interesting because you don't like knock it by accident, because I don't know if anyone's ever like a guitar with a high friction pot, and it's made to be a little bit harder to move. And it's really cool because you don't accidentally bump it as much. Next to a push-pull pot that for the first like 3 weeks of me playing this guitar, I had no idea it was a push-pull. I just kind of accepted the fact that I only had 5 settings out of the 9 potential settings of the Fishman Fluence Open Coil Classics. If you've been on the channel for a little bit, I recently have been exposed to these by getting the Scott LePage signature models. And I was like, okay, if these are this good, what are the originals like, right? Because I had only been exposed to the moderns before and like the Tosin Abasi ones. And those are pretty extreme differences. And I was always like, oh, I don't like the moderns. And there's nothing against them. Some people like them. I just personally was like, man, I don't really like them. They're not what my ear likes to hear. I first tried the Tosin pickups and I was like, these are incredible. Then come to find out that the Open Core Classics exist, and I've been in love because these are voiced. They're not wound and split coils. They are voiced with layered circuit boards to sound like certain things, and they're so convincing. And even if they're not convincing to you, like even if they're single coil Strat type thing or whatever doesn't sound like a single coil Strat to you, it still sounds great, and it's still a tone worth acknowledging. Oh, I love that. I absolutely love it. And it is cool because like these could totally do that, or they could do the full-blown polyphia kind of thing where you go like. Has that total polyphia kind of honk to it, which is great. That early polyphia kind of single coil thing. So already this is an insanely versatile guitar that is getting more prog and fusion attention and not as much like real like versatility attention. Then on top of all that, you have a floating trem at the bottom here, which is very much like a Godot 510. You know, they all kind of do the Godot 510-ish idea now. Now, when you split the pickups, this is how it goes. Even though it's not a traditional split, you have all the way down in positions 1, 3, and 5, down, middle, and up, you have a vintage kind of, I call it an SG style tone. You know what I mean? Then in positions 2 and 4, you have your single coils. Then when you pull this up, positions 2 and 4 stay the same, but what happens is 1, 3, and 5 become the hot rodded, modern kind of PAF that just screams. And that just on an overdriven setting. If I kick it up to my usual high gain sound, you can really, I can hear a difference in this pickup. Watch this, ready? So this is the regular. Now if I kick this up to the modern, really when you hit that low note right there, I hear that mid-range John Petrucci honk come out really nicely. So it's really cool. You get a lot of sounds out of this thing. And it does come with a battery pack since all Fishman Fluents are powered. All in all, I think this is a very underrated guitar, and that's just my personal opinion. I gave you all the specs and everything, but my personal opinion is that this is a very underrated guitar. So I've just been playing the crap out of it and seeing how it stands up to my other guitars. Let me know if you have any questions, leave them below. Check out one of these videos, and I will see you next time.